Have you ever noticed how, after 70, walking, something that once felt so natural, can suddenly turn into a source of pain or exhaustion? Studies show that nearly 40% of older adults develop knee or hip issues directly linked to overwalking. That means what you thought was keeping you strong might actually be wearing your body down. Take Mr. Lawson, 75. For years, he prided himself on walking 5 miles a day. But then the stiffness set in, the swelling followed, and soon his doctor told him something shocking. It wasn't his age that was failing him, it was his routine. His body needed a new kind of movement, gentle, safe, and smarter. And here's where the hope comes in. Even if you're walking less, it doesn't mean you're losing your health. In fact, there are 5 simple exercises you can do right at home that not only protect your joints, but also keep your heart, muscles, and balance strong. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see how walking less can actually open the door to living longer, moving easier, and feeling more confident every single day. Did you know that more than half of adults over 70 struggle with morning stiffness so bad that it limits their daily activities? That means before the day even begins, their joints are already saying no. Let me introduce you to Clara, 73. She used to love her morning walks in the park, but lately she found herself frozen in her kitchen chair each morning, waiting for the ache in her hips to pass. She thought walking more would help loosen things up, but instead, the pain just got worse. It wasn't until a physical therapist suggested something unexpected, chair yoga, that things began to change. Clara was skeptical at first. Yoga? At her age. But when she tried just 5 minutes of gentle seated stretches, lifting her arms slowly, twisting gently at the waist, rolling her shoulders, something surprising happened. The stiffness eased, the tension in her back released, and for the first time in months, she stood up without wincing. The truth is, you don't need to force yourself through long walks to feel mobile. Gentle stretching signals your body to wake up in a safer, kinder way. It's like giving your joints a morning hug, reminding them they can still move freely. And here's the bonus. These small movements also improve circulation, which means more energy throughout the day. So if you've been waking up with stiffness or soreness, don't push through it with another painful walk. Start with something simple. Stretch where you are, even from your favorite chair. It may feel small, but over time it can transform how easily you move, how much energy you have, and even how confident you feel stepping out into the world. Here's a number that might surprise you. 1 out of 3 adults over 65 falls every single year. And the leading reason isn't poor eyesight, it's weak legs and a fading core. Take Robert, 77. He was always careful, never rushing, always watching his step. Yet one afternoon, just getting up from his recliner, his legs gave out beneath him. Nothing dramatic, no uneven pavement, no slippery floor, just weak muscles that couldn't hold him steady anymore. That fall shook his confidence even more than his body. But here's the hopeful part. Robert's doctor didn't prescribe endless walking or heavy weights. Instead, he showed him something simple. Seated leg lifts. Sitting tall in a sturdy chair, Robert slowly lifted one leg, held it for a few seconds, then lowered it. Then the other leg. At first, it felt almost too easy. But within weeks, he noticed his balance improving, his core feeling tighter, and, most importantly, he could stand up from that same recliner without fear. The beauty of seated leg lifts and gentle core twists is that they build strength where it matters most, your foundation. Walking alone can't always target these deep stabilizing muscles, but this simple habit can. And the best part? You can do it while watching TV, chatting with family, or even waiting for your tea to steep. Every time you lift, you're telling your body, I'm still strong, I'm still steady, I'm still in control. And that quiet confidence is sometimes the most powerful exercise of all. Here's something most people don't realize. After 70, the body can lose up to 30% of its muscle strength in just a decade if it's not challenged. That's like carrying groceries today and struggling to lift a single bag 10 years from now. Let me tell you about Clara, 74. She loved cooking, but one morning she realized she couldn't open a jar of pickles on her own. Her hands trembled, her arms felt weak, and she sat at the kitchen table in tears, not just because of the jar, but because it felt like she was losing control of the simple joys of her life. Her granddaughter, a physical therapist, gave her a small resistance band. At first, Clara laughed. How could this little strip of rubber help? But she tried it. Sitting on her chair, she held the band between her hands, gently pulled it apart, and felt her arms shake. The next day, she looped it under her feet and pressed upward, working her legs. Week by week, her strength returned. A few months later, Clara didn't just open that jar of pickles, she carried her groceries inside by herself again. The band, as simple as it looked, became her secret weapon against weakness. Resistance bands are incredible because they're safe, light, and gentle on the joints, yet they wake up those fading muscles we need most: arms for lifting, legs for balance, and the core for posture. You don't need a gym. You don't need machines. Just a band and a few minutes a day. Every stretch with the band is like telling your body, I'm not done yet. And for seniors, that message can mean everything. Did you know that one simple slip in the living room is often enough to send seniors to the hospital, and many never fully recover? In fact, falls are the #1 cause of injury for older adults after 65. That's a statistic no one likes to hear, but it's the truth. Take Samuel, 79. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't rushing. He simply bent down to pick up his newspaper, lost his balance, and ended up with a fractured hip. What shook him the most wasn't the pain. It was the realization that a single wobble could steal away his independence. When Samuel returned home after recovery, his therapist introduced him to gentle balance exercises. Nothing extreme, just standing near a sturdy chair, rising on his toes, holding for a few seconds, then lowering back down. At first, even this felt unsteady. But slowly, he grew stronger. He added side leg raises, practiced shifting his weight from one foot to the other, and even tried standing with eyes closed for a moment. A month later, Samuel didn't just feel steadier, he felt confident again. He could move around the house without fear, and that quiet confidence gave him back something precious: freedom. Balance training may not look as exciting as lifting weights or walking miles, but it's the invisible armor that protects seniors from the most dangerous threat: falls. And the beauty of it is that anyone can do it, right in their own home, with nothing more than a chair for support. Every second you spend practicing balance is like buying insurance for your independence. And for seniors, independence is priceless. Here's something few people realize. Stress doesn't just live in the mind, it seeps into the body, raising blood pressure, tensing muscles, and even disturbing sleep. For seniors over 70, that quiet stress can be just as harmful as physical illness. Let me share the story of Linda, 75. Every night she went to bed exhausted, yet her mind kept racing. She'd think about her health, her children, even little things like whether she remembered to lock the door. Her chest would tighten, her breath shallow, and by morning, she felt more drained than when she lay down. One afternoon, her doctor suggested something that sounded too simple to work: breathing exercises. Linda raised an eyebrow but decided to try. Sitting in her chair, she placed one hand on her chest, the other on her belly, and inhaled slowly through her nose for 4 seconds. She held it gently, then exhaled through her mouth for 6 seconds. At first, she felt silly, but after a few rounds, her shoulders dropped, her heartbeat steadied, and she felt calm in a way she hadn't in years. Over the next weeks, she made it part of her daily routine. Just 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. To her surprise, Not only did she sleep better, but she felt lighter, calmer, and even more energetic during the day. Gentle breathing and relaxation practices may not look like exercise, but they are just as vital. They quiet the nervous system, reduce hidden stress, and protect the heart. For seniors, learning to slow down the breath is like giving the body permission to heal. Every inhale tells you that you are here, alive, and capable. Every exhale is a release, letting go of the weight you don't need to carry anymore. And that simple rhythm can restore peace in ways no pill or machine ever could. So, let's take a moment to look back. We've talked about 5 gentle yet powerful practices: chair yoga to keep the body flexible, seated leg lifts to strengthen the core, resistance bands to bring back muscle power, balance training to prevent dangerous falls, and gentle breathing to restore calm and protect the heart. None of these requires a gym, fancy equipment, or hours of effort. They only ask for a few minutes of your day and the courage to begin. If you're over 70, these aren't just exercises. They're a daily promise to yourself. A promise that you will stay steady on your feet, strong in your body, and calm in your heart. Think about your own routine right now. Which of these 5 can you try today? Even one small step could change how you move, how you rest, and how you feel tomorrow morning. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these practices speaks to you the most? Comment the number below 1 through 5 and share your experience. You never know who might read your comment and feel inspired to start. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next one. Remember, staying well after 70 isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And you have the power to start right now.